Big injury update. Dave Roberts gives an update on the bullpen situation heading into the postseason. How fluid is the Dodgers pen? We've got some injury news that could impact that. Also, the Dodgers postseason picture right now. How big of a blow was last night's loss to the Philadelphia Phillies? Can the Dodgers go through a much tougher road through the postseason than last year and still win the World Series? Also, Shohei Ohtani's on the mound tonight. How will the Dodgers use Shohei in the postseason? All that more coming up next on Dodgers Dugout Live.
It's time for Dodger Baseball. Welcome to Dodger Stadium.
This is the golden age of Dodger baseball. The Dodgers are building a dynasty.
You got it, Warrior Parade! We got it, Parade! The Dodgers punch back and head to the championship series! Ohtani starts the 50-50 club! Monkey magic! Freeman hits the ball, right field! She is gone! Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
Think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out. What is up, Dodgers Nation, and welcome to the Dodgers Nation post-game show. No, this is the Dodgers Dugout Live, #1 Dodgers podcast and show on YouTube. My name is Doug McKain. I cover the Dodgers for Dodgers Nation. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. If you are new to the channel, new to the show, hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button for your Los Angeles Dodgers. Also, join the Dodgers Nation Discord. You got thousands of Dodgers fans talking Dodger baseball 24/7, 365. We'll leave the link down below. Also, for my fans of Dodgers gear, one of the most iconic looks in Dodger baseball is that satin-looking starter jacket from the 80s. And we've got some good news, and that is that Homage has restocked on one of the best pieces of Dodgers merchandise, the heavyweight satin jacket. Early this season, Homage brought it back right before the Tokyo series, and it sold out instantly. This jacket is built for the dugout with all of the classic details on it that you saw and loved from the original. Full snap buttons, slip pockets, quilted lining, and the essential interior patch. With the postseason right around the corner, you'll need something fly to keep you warm whenever you're at those night games at Dodger Stadium. And this jacket is a great investment. Click on the link below in our description or the pinned message in our live chat to buy yours now. There's only a couple hundred left in all sizes, so you don't want to wait long. Yes, this jacket is, like I said, this is one of the most iconic jackets, and it's kind of updated too because you got the LA on the sleeve. You still have that look. I think they should bring these back. I don't think that they should have changed this look. I think that managers should still go with this type of jacket. It look great in the dugout. Like I said, you got the slip pockets, the quilted lining, and the essential interior patch. So there's only a couple hundred left. Get them while they last. They're going to be sold out very quickly here. So if you want to pick one up for the winter, you got, Christmas is like 100 days away, something like that. So great time to pick one up. But we have a lot to get into, as always. There's so much Dodger baseball to get into. So let's get right into it here with the leadoff.
Leading off, the hottest story in Dodger baseball.
So the hottest story in Dodger baseball is, if you haven't already, you're going to have to accept the fact that the Dodgers are more than likely going to be playing in the wild card round. And you look at the models right now, and I've been doing that this morning, where the Dodgers stand at the moment. You're still in a good position to win the division. That's not a guarantee. But Fangraphs gives the Dodgers a 90.1% of winning the division. But the number that has taken a big hit and the big blow to the Dodgers is their chances of clinching a bye and finishing with the 2 seed in the National League is now down to 3.3%. 3.3%, and that is extremely low. Now, the encouraging thing, if you look at the models, and yes, it's baseball, everything changes, but right now the Dodgers' chances of winning the World Series, according to FanGraphs, are down to 14.8%, and really it's a crapshoot at this point. The Phillies are at 11%, the Mariners 11.3%, Blue Jays 11.2%. Yes, this is just a model. Yes, these are just percentages, but let's not forget the Dodgers, they had the best odds of winning the World Series last year, and they did just that. So don't tell me they don't mean anything. There's something to them, but more importantly, how it impacts the Dodgers here and now is last night it was a back and forth affair, and we talked about it yesterday. Emmet Sheehan not starting, going with Anthony Bonda, and him not getting the job done. Emmet Sheehan looked outstanding. I do think, having slept on it, yes, the positive was the fact that when Emmet Sheehan gets an opportunity in the postseason, it will most likely come out of the bullpen, most likely following someone like a Shohei Ohtani. So he has to get used to running through those bullpen gates and warming up and how it impacts his routine from that standpoint. Having said all that, would they have had an opener for Yamamoto? Would they have had an opener for Shohei Ohtani? Would they have had an opener for Blake Snell or Tyler Glasnow or Clayton Kershaw? No, right? No openers for any of those other guys. And yes, is it because those guys will be starters in the postseason? I think that has a lot to do with it. But I think also, too, I mean, it's the stature, it's the seniority, it's the fact that those guys have been starters their whole careers, and you're trying to adjust Emmet Sheehan into a newer role. But also, too, I think there's a little bit of a, okay, we didn't want Emmet Sheehan to have to face Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber as many times as he would have had he started the game. So I do think there was a trust factor in it as well, as far as them just wanting to use a lefty. And like I said, it made no sense just because Schwarber and Bryce Harper are better against lefties this season. So from that standpoint, it didn't even the math equation didn't work, right? The math wasn't mathing on that one. And for an organization that prides itself on analytics and prides itself on optimizing guys and putting them in the best positions to have success, I do think that at the time, I didn't think it was a good decision. And after, I don't think it was a good decision. Then, of course, there was the at-bat. Miguel Rojas in the 8th inning, his inability to get that sacrifice fly, and that certainly was a major issue there. He can't swing at the first pitch there, right? David Robertson could not find the zone. He was struggling. Had just walked Alex Call, and Alex Call flipped that bat. And Miguel Rojas, he goes up there and he tries to hit a sac fly, right? And you do it on the first pitch. If you're Mookie, if you're Shohei, if you're Freddie, you don't bat an eye. Even if you're Muncy, Teoscar, or Will Smith, maybe. But for someone like Miguel Rojas, you expect a better at-bat out of him, and it's just unfortunate because he's been so good for this team all year. But they are where they are, and just to lay it out for you, had the Dodgers had won that, well, you would be looking at maybe sweeping. And if the Dodgers had swept the Phillies, they would have been a game and a half of Philadelphia with 10 games to play. That's not impossible. Now, the Dodgers, you're in a tough spot because even if you win this next 2 games and you cut that deficit down to 3.5 games. So if the Dodgers win the next 2, they'd be 3.5 games behind the Phillies for the second seed in the National League. Then you got 10 games left. The Phillies would have 11 games left. And in that stretch, you would need the Dodgers to go perfect almost 8-2, the Phillies 3-8. They would have to basically absolutely crater and crumble, and you would need the Dodgers to finish extremely strong down the stretch when you're playing a Diamondbacks team that all of a sudden is in the mix for the wild card spot, the final one, along with the Mets and the Reds and the Giants and teams like that. So they're playing meaningful baseball, as are the Seattle Mariners. So it's not like you're playing gimmies, whereas the Phillies down the stretch, you look at their remaining schedule, and it is much more favorable than the one that the Dodgers are going to face. I mean, they do have to go to Arizona to play a Diamondbacks team that's trying to desperately make the postseason, and that's why a sweep for the Dodgers would have been so pivotal, because at that point, you're really putting pressure on that Phillies team to go in there and beat the Diamondbacks. But then you look at how the Phillies season finishes. You've got games against the Marlins and the Twins home games. So it's going to be tough to overcome that Just being completely honest with you, like I said, a 3% chance. So let's just be honest with ourselves. Let's take a look at the mirror. And in the mirror, we see a team that is not going to finish with one of the top 2 records in the National League and will have to play in a National League wild card series, a 3-game series. And as of right now, you have to focus on winning that division. Now, I see people saying that winning the division isn't that important now because you have to play the wild card round anyway. I disagree because a lot of things can still take place here that would put the Dodgers at a disadvantage. First and foremost, you want to play at Dodger Stadium. You want to play at home. We've seen this team and the magic that they have at that stadium. Look no further than last year. Freddie's walk-off grand slam, Game 5 at home, all the moments there. You want to play in front of your home crowd, 50,000 strong at the Ravine, especially, too, because it's not like you have to travel back and forth in that series. All games are played at one ballpark, so it would be a 3-game series at Dodger Stadium. So right now, the Dodgers do have a 2-game lead over the Padres in the division. They own the tiebreaker, so look at that as a 3-game lead. The magic number to win the division is still at 10 games, so you need 10 results in the Dodgers' favors, whether it be wins by the Dodgers or losses by the Padres. The magic number is 10. Yesterday, the Phillies, their magic number was 1, and they beat the Dodgers, so they celebrated in the Dodgers clubhouse. Lots of champagne, lots of beer. Let's hope they are drunk today and hungover today, and they're not going to play their best baseball. I just hope they partied hard. Hopefully the Dodgers sent over some more champagne bottles and red Budweisers, so they're a little hungover today. But where the Dodgers are at right now, you definitely want to win the division, absolutely, but the 2 seed's not an option, so you're playing that wild card round. So what does that wild card round look like right now? Well, if they win the division, they host the wild card team. Right now, it would be the New York Mets. It'd be a team that has top-level talent, the Juan Sotos, the Lindors of the world, a Mets team that has competed with this Dodgers team, a rotation, a bullpen. It's not like there's some 16 seed in the NCAA tournament that's playing from a small school, right? It's not like they're Loyola Chicago or something like that, some Cinderella story, right? That's a team that has a lot of top-end, high-dollar talent that would love nothing more than to avenge their loss to the Dodgers from last year's NLCS. So it would be an NLCS rematch in a ballpark where most of those players are very comfortable. Now, if the Mets can hold on to the final wild card spot, then you'd be looking at the Diamondbacks, the Reds, or the Giants. So you look at all those teams. If you could pick one of them, absolutely you would want to go against the Reds. But the Reds, they have some pretty high-level starting pitcher. We got Hunter Green. I mean, there's some guys that can deal. They would be playing with zero pressure, all house money for them. But the most likely scenario is the Diamondbacks are a game and a half back from the Mets. The Reds are 2 games back, and the Giants are 2 games back. So if the Dodgers want to put themselves in a position where they don't want to face the rivals and SF really would stand for season finished, well, the Dodgers do have a 4-game series with the Giants this week starting on Thursday. So you could essentially end the Giants season. Also, you play the Diamondbacks too. So that's pretty interesting too. I mean, because if you're in a spot where you want to win your division, but you have an impact on the opponent you're going to face. So anything can happen with 10 games left and a 2-game deficit, but those are the 4 teams you're looking at. Right now, it'd be the Mets, but behind them is the Diamondbacks, the Reds, and the Giants. I do not like the idea of playing division rivals, whether it be the Giants, whether it be the Diamondbacks or the Padres, because of the familiarity there, how comfortable they would be. Reds would be the best case scenario. The Mets would be tricky. I think the Mets would be tricky. I really, really do. That Mets team can get hot. We saw last year they beat the Brewers in the wild card round thanks to that Pete Alonso home run off of Devin Williams. So, to be honest with you, I hate the idea of playing a short series. That's why I thought it was extremely important for this team to find a way to finish with one of the top 2 seeds in the National League. And for anyone that tells me that's not important, just look at last year, right? You won 98 games, had the best record in baseball, and you would go on to win the World Series. Having said that, look at 2023, the Texas Rangers. They scratched and clawed. They were a team that a lot of people didn't think were going to exceed expectations. They were viewed as a team that was not going to make a deep run, but they beat the Rays in the wild card series, and then they beat the Orioles, then they beat the Astros, then they beat the Diamondbacks. So it's happened as recently as just 2 seasons ago, where you had Adolis Garcia and Corey Seager going crazy. I mean, that was a really good team that got hot at the right time. And could that happen again? I definitely think it could. This is a Dodgers team that really takes a backseat to no one. I mean, they just really don't when they're at their best. But having said that, I mean, you got guys that are better than Jordan Montgomery, right? And you got guys that are better than Nathan Eovaldi. So they have the depth to make it deep. But I do push back on this idea of this is good for the Dodgers. I think this whole idea, the bats, they're not going to have a chance to get cold. Really? I mean, we've seen this team go games where they're double-digit runs, and the very next day they're scoring 2 runs, and that's in consecutive days. I mean, I still think, too, that a team that has Shohei Ohtani on it is still a team that I would rather have rest. So until I see the Dodgers win a division, finish with one of the top 2 seeds, on a team that has Shohei Ohtani on the roster and not win that division round, then I'm going to say, let's follow the pattern that works. So I do think this is disappointing. I do think this is underwhelming. And I do think that they did want the 2 seed. I don't think that yesterday was some indication that they're not afraid of the Phillies. They're not afraid of any other teams in baseball, because I think they respect opponents. They understand it's baseball. Yes, the Dodgers can beat any team. I still have the confidence that they will. But now you're in a position where you have to go to Philly for the NLDS in a short series in what's the most the loudest, and the fans are just right on top of you in Philly. It's not an easy scenario. It's going to be tough. They've made it very tough on themselves. Can they do it? I absolutely think they can, and they will. But it's going to be a lot more difficult. But here was Dave Roberts yesterday when he was asked how important it is for the Dodgers to finish with one of the top 2 seeds in the National League.
Alden, I think it's we're going to try to win as many games as we can, and where it falls out is where it falls out. So, I don't even think it matters for me to say how important it is or, how not valuable. I just kind of want to win games and see where it all plays out.
So that's a safe answer. That, to me, sounded like someone who kind of realized how unlikely it is to finish with that top 2 seed. I think had the Dodgers been a game or 2 up on the Phillies right now, that answer would be very different. It would be, we want to definitely avoid that wild card round. It worked for us last year. We played a lot of baseball. Let's not forget the Dodgers played deep into October last year and won the World Series. They had a shorter offseason where they started their season in Tokyo, and then they've been a team that has had a bullseye on their back the entire year. They played a lot of baseball. So when you played a lot of baseball, what really helps is playing a little less baseball when you don't have to. Now let's talk about the doomsday scenario for the Dodgers that would make it even more difficult. Well, the worst case scenario right now would be if the Dodgers were to lose the division to the Padres. If that were to happen, the Padres would be the 3 seed. And right now the Dodgers are 2 games back from the Chicago Cubs, who are the 4th seed. The Cubs own the tiebreaker against the Dodgers, so they have a 3-game lead on LA. So it's like what you see with the Padres and Dodgers, right? That tiebreaker is a big factor. And this scenario would have the Dodgers going to Wrigley Field to face the Cubs in the wild card round. So that's the one that you want to avoid. You can't go on the road. Yes, they can win. There's no team that keeps me up at night. I'm not afraid of any of these teams. But having said that, you have to expect and accept the unpredictability of baseball. Baseball is not the NBA. If you want predictable sports, just just follow the NBA. The NBA is basically a WWE scriptwriter, right? Baseball is not. I've told you this on this show. For the better team to win in baseball, 80% of the time in a series, you would have to have a 75-game series in the NBA to match that level of variance. So it's just a different sport because baseball, you just never know. I mean, some days guys are on, some guys are off, some guys are hot, some guys get the big hit. I mean, there's a lot of moving parts, bullpen pieces, rotation guys, injuries. I mean, there's just so many factors into it. It is more complicated than basketball. It has more variance than football or hockey too. So that's the situation that they're in. And I think right now, just big picture narrative, looking at this from 30,000 feet here, the Dodgers are kind of in an interesting spot as far as how they could shape the narrative for the season. Because now it's getting different. Now it's changed. Now it's gone from a team that for 3 months of this season looked like they were going to have the best record in baseball and put themselves in a much more advantageous and comfortable position to go back-to-back because they would have had home field advantage throughout all of the postseason, and they would have avoided the wild card round. You would have had the DS, the CS, and the World Series at Dodger Stadium, just like you did last year. That led to a World Series. The first full season World Series with a parade since 1988. This year, they just went from playing on hard to all Madden, right? The stakes just went up. The degree of difficulty just went up. And that's because now you're looking at a postseason run that's going to require you to win 2 more games than you did last year. And you're going to have to go on the road in the DS, likely the CS, and likely the World Series. So it's going to be very difficult. And on top of that, this is a team that was projected to win around 104, 105 games. There were people that said that this team had the talent to win 120 games and finish with the best record in the history of Major League Baseball. This team could win 90 wins. They could win 90 games. They could win 89 games and get bounced early in the postseason and go down as, based on their talent level, one of the most disappointing teams in Major League Baseball. So, hey, I don't love saying this stuff, but my responsibility to you is to be 100% truthful and honest at what the stakes are right now. And those are the stakes. The stakes are so extreme right now that it's much more interesting to me, to be quite honest. I don't prefer this route, but when you look at the stakes, think about this. Either the Dodgers go back-to-back and become the first team since the 2000 Yankees to win back-to-back World Series, the first National League team to do it since the late 70s Reds, the first Dodgers team to ever win back-to-back titles. Either they do that or you lose early, you lose in the DS, CS, or World Series. I mean, I think if you made it back to the World Series and you lost, or you made it to the CS and you lost, there might be a world where you could kind of live with it coming after a World Series where you kind of defended your title the way you did. But if they get bounced early, whether that be the wild card or the DS, with the talent that they have, yes, they dealt with injuries. With the guys in their primes, Freddie and Mookie and Shohei in that rotation with Yamamoto, you could make the case that this would go down as one of the most disappointing teams in the history of Major League Baseball, right? I don't think it's going to happen. I still think this team's going to win the World Series, but you would have to look at last year's offseason to reevaluate some of those moves, and I think that's where the initial fingers would be pointed to is, hey, we spent all that money last offseason. Did it pay off? So as Andrew Friedman told the LA Times, he's going to wait until after the postseason to do a full evaluation on those signings, and we will wait and see. But right now, that is where they are. So let me know down below in the comments section, what are your thoughts on, thanks, Gabriel, nice polo. Appreciate it. What are your thoughts on the Dodgers seeding? Does the 2 seed matter? Does it matter? Like I said, the 2023 Rangers just 2 years ago, they beat the Rays twice, and boom, it springboarded them into a title. I think it'd be fun this way. I mean, I wouldn't prefer it, but man, it would show, hey, it doesn't matter where you put us. We're that good. We've got the experience on our side with so many veterans that have rings and have done it on a big stage. But here we go. Loro says, I'd rather them not have a bye. I find that funny because literally every single year it's been, how can we get the parade? How can we win a full 162-game season? The one year they had the bye, home field advantage, and the best record in baseball, they won the whole thing. So now people want the opposite. I think that seems like some cope. This sounds like there's some copium here. We got Adrian. By the way, D-Mac, you should check out Camden Yards. Amazing. I've been to Camden Yards. It's a great ballpark. I would say it's at least top 5 for me. The warehouse, it's incredible. Big Ken Griffey Jr. fan, so when he hit the warehouse, it's I think a great moment. Brianna Rojas should not have swung at that. Roy Estrada trying does not have it. Quit trying to force it. Yeah, we're going to talk about the bullpen next. Absolutely. D-Mac should grow a playoff beard. Yeah. You guys, it might. I'm actually growing a beard out right now. If I grow that playoff beard out, it might be ready for the next playoffs. But for you, I will. I gotcha. We got D-Mac. That's an awesome Dodgers shirt. Man, everyone likes this polo. All right. Shout out to Nike. I've worn this on the show, guys. I mean, I'm trying to keep it fresh. D-bags are trash from BC. Our bullpen sucks from Tony Taylor. Let's talk about the bullpen here in a second. BC, yeah, it doesn't matter now that they're in the wild card. Does the division still matter to you? I still want to win the division 12 of the last 13 years, and I want the Padres to not win the division because they'll have a parade. Sup, Dodger Amigos. Sup, Mario. Carl just won the division now. Bob Bowie. Dodgers are defending champions. They DGAF. I like that. I like it. Hunter Green scares me from MJL. Dodgers haven't had any balance. The offense was good last night, but the pitching was awful. But when the pitching is pitching shutout and the offense is nowhere to be found, that's for Brianna. That has been an issue for this team for sure. Sneaky Panda, $5 super chat. At this point, we can only hope. Let's not confuse confidence with arrogance. Dodgers are not looking good. They were looking good last 2 days before this when the offense just exploded up in San Francisco. And last night, to their credit, Mookie Betts was fantastic. Couple sac flies, a big home run to get them back in it. And then Andy Pages put a big swing on Johan Duran. That was the first hit off a curveball by Duran since he had joined the Phillies, so that was big. Martin Troop, D-Mac, we're on a good vibe. Jack Dreyer just surprised us last night. Yeah, it wasn't his best night for sure. We got BT Fouts. Dodgers are scoring all their runs in the first 5 innings and giving up all their runs in the last 4. RH, D-Mac, if I had to choose between avoiding the wild card series but with an unhealthy roster or having to play through the wild card series with a healthy roster, I would choose the latter. So that's interesting to me because I've said on this show all season long that I think the Dodgers have sacrificed anywhere from 10 to 15 wins because they've been extremely cautious anytime a player has been injured. And the latest on Will Smith with the bone bruise is that this is not going to be something that is going to be at 100%. So what will they do? Well, Dalton Rushing, he can be activated today off the IL, so you expect him to be back, and he's another bench bat that's a possibility as well. But who knows? We could see Will Smith later than usual now if they're comfortable with this division lead, knowing that it's unlikely they're going to catch the Phillies. But if they had won last night and you sweep the series and you're close to getting that 2 seed, maybe you bring back Will Smith a little sooner. You do like what you saw from Ben Rortvedt. You got Chucky Robinson yesterday. I'm ready to see Dalton Rushing back in the lineup, but do love me some Ben Rortvedt. We talked about it yesterday, the possibility of Ben Rortvedt making the postseason roster, especially early, because you have Shohei Ohtani as a pitcher, so you can still have 13 pitchers plus him, or you can have 12 pitchers plus him, have Ben Rortvedt, great pitch framer, can use him on defense, and then you also have Dalton Rushing off the bench. I think the perfect scenario is Will Smith just 100% healthy, and we saw last year he went the entire postseason, and he was big. But, yeah, Will Smith, he's got a great arm, throws guys out, elite hitting catcher. But what Ben Rortvedt does elite is he's great at framing. We've got the baseball had so many dynasties until the mid-2000s as baseball. But you look at the Braves. They won 1 title, right? You had the Yankees. You had the Giants winning in even years. I mean, you got the Royals had a year in there. I mean, the Astros. I mean, but the truth is, if you look at the history of the NBA and you add up all the series, I mean, it's Celtics, Lakers, Celtics, Bulls, Spurs, Heat. I mean, there's so many dynasties in there. Cavs, Warriors. I mean, the basketball is a dynasty sport. I mean, if we're being completely honest here. D-Mac, we won the World Series on the road. We can win it in any city. Let's go, Dodgers. I love that comment, Martin Troop. I really do. Michael McCaffrey, this is turning into a year I'd like to forget. Look, I think that before we just slam the 2025 Dodgers, let's all recognize just that it's so hard to repeat in baseball, and that it just goes to show a lot of teams don't even get this close. So I still believe in this group. I think they're saving their best for last. And there's just been a lot of attrition that this team's had to overcome, whether it be injuries, whether it be slumps, whether it be the bullpen. So let's talk about the bullpen. Dave was asked yesterday about the state of the bullpen and which arms that he's going to go with when the postseason arrives and how fluid that situation is.
I think it's very fluid. I think it also, I think that the goal is to get the 13 best pitchers, yes. But I think that a little bit of the fluidity is the potential opponent, how guys are throwing in that particular, the recent part of it. So, I think it's fair to say you want your best 13.
So, best 13, he said that in the past, but is anyone else a little concerned about Blake Trinan? I mean, last year, a 1.93 ERA. This year, it's up to 3.68. The FIP is at 4.15. The expected FIP is at 4.12. Strikeout numbers are up, but so are the walks. He's at a walk percentage that is at 12.9%. That's up from 6% last season. Strikeout rate up a little bit, 30.7%. But with Blake, I think that he's someone that is capable of flipping the switch when the postseason rolls around, which is coming in the next couple of weeks here. But Blake Trinan has lost the last 3 of the 4 losses. He's been a guy that has not got it done in 3 of the last 4 Dodgers losses. He couldn't get it done in the no-hitter with Yamamoto. He couldn't get it done when the Giants had the walk-off grand slam, and we know that what led to that with Tanner Scott. And, of course, yesterday he's on the mound. You had the Manfred man. And the issue with Trinan is, hey, if you're striking guys out, then sure, by all means, don't worry about looking at the runner. But with Blake Trinan on the mound, you might as well put the Manfred man on third and not even put him on second if he's not going to at least look over there. I mean, the least you can do is look over there. But it's a combination of things. It's not paying attention to the runner, and then it's also a slow delivery to the plate. So Blake Trinan, I mean, he's a guy they brought back to be nails in these situations. And then considering the fact that you lost Evan Phillips this season, his role increased even more. And then with the years that Kirby Yates and Tanner Scott have had, I mean, you need Blake Trinan to be better because he just has not in these situations. And he's kind of becoming a guy where it's almost like Kenley Jansen towards his later stages with the Dodgers, where Kenley would look really good sometimes, nasty cutter, soft contact, and other times you would see walks, you would see hard contact. So, yeah, they definitely need him to step up because he has not been good. Period, point blank. Blake Trinan has not pitched well for the Dodgers, and he's supposed to be a strength, and right now he's looking like a weakness for LA. Last year he was fantastic. He's a Dodgers legend for what he did for this team, not just in 2024, but also in 2020. If you remember, he was big after Kenley got demoted, and they used Blake Trinan there in Game 5 to close things out, but they need more from him. They need more from him. And then there is Brock Stewart. So Brock Stewart, I think, is one of the big X factors for the Dodgers down the stretch. He's the guy that they traded for. I mean, yesterday we saw Johan Duran on the mound, who the Phillies gave up top prospects for, only to give up a game-tying home run to Andy Pajes. So you just never know with relievers. Well, Brock Stewart's supposed to be a guy that they can get out right-handed hitters, and do for this team what they hoped that Evan Phillips was going to do before he left the season for Tommy John surgery? Well, good news is Brock Stewart is close to returning. Here was Dave Roberts with the latest on Brock.
Yeah, if Brock comes back healthy and right, he's going to go on Tuesday, so he'll go tomorrow night, he'll go Thursday, and then, if all goes well, then, we have a conversation over the weekend. But if all goes well, with his ability to, pitch well and manage right, it could be very helpful. Yeah, we need it. We need it. I mean, I think that it's you can look at, our pen and, how guys have fared against right-hand hitting, and we've got a good sample. So, yeah, with his track record, and the recency, and we just got to make sure he's healthy. And if he's right, then it could be very,
So there you go, Brock Stewart. Now, he did already make that first appearance, and he did toss a scoreless inning. He gave a walk, a double, and a stolen base. Hit 96.5 miles per hour on the heater. 8 of his 19 pitches were strikes. So we'll see what he can provide, because you look at this bullpen. I think that down the stretch, you really have to find who's pitching well right now. Forget about what they did leading up to now. Who has it right now? Yesterday, Alex Vesia, on that home run that he gave up to Bryce Harper late in this one, well, Alex Vesia, he's had some ups and downs lately, and he's someone that certainly is going to be expected to play a big role for this team down the stretch. But, man, if this team were to be able to get a nice division lead, or the Padres lose a ton of games and you can find a way to just not use him as much, it might be a good time to just give him some rest when you can, because last night, Alex Vesia, the fastball was down a little bit on the velocity, especially on that pitch to Bryce Harper. So he's someone that you want to see definitely feel good this time of year. Another name I want to mention is a guy that has been sneaky putting in work down Arizona, down in OKC, down trying to work his way back, and that is Kyle Hurt. Would you thrust Kyle Hurt into this situation? Who knows? But he has looked pretty darn good, because he has had 4 rehab outings with Oklahoma City, and in those outings, he's given up 1 run on 8 hits with 9 strikeouts. He's posted a 1.35 ERA in 6 2/3 innings. The heater was up to 98 in his last appearance. He's been hovering around 96, but that changeup has been lethal. He's got a 50% whiff rate on that changeup, and he's throwing a ton of strikes. So that, to me, is the interesting one if you're looking for upside plays. I mean, he did look as great today. He went 2/3 of an inning, gave up 1 run on 2 hits, had a couple walks. Fastball, though, close to 98. So it'll be interesting to see if they even consider someone like him. But the bullpen is going to be the number one thing moving forward. Like, the biggest thing the Dodgers still have to figure out is who do they trust in those roles down the stretch. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but Tanner Scott has looked good in his last 2 appearances. He was really unlucky on Friday. I'm going to the stadium right after this to talk to him, hopefully, about pitch tipping and things like that, and what he's kind of looked at the last couple of days. So curious to see what he has to say about that. But we're going to do a post-game show from Dodgers Stadium tonight, so be on the lookout. You guys want to see my man Pedro Pascal Duarte? He'll be back in the mix for sure. But now it's your time to shine, guys. The 7th inning stretch. Have those thoughts, comments, and questions ready about your boys in blue on the 7th inning stretch.
The 7th inning stretch.
TJ Martinez says Rortvet is better than rushing. I think that rushing, what he provides, is more upside as a true at-bat, a guy that can slug and do damage. I mean, would Rortvet hit that 3-run home run against the Padres? Probably not. Is he a better framer? He is. The data tells us that. Could he be a better defensive catcher? You could probably make that case. but Dalton rushing has a lot more upside as a bat. That's why I suggested, hey, there's no reason why you can't keep 3 of those catchers, Will Smith, Rortvedt, and Dalton rushing for their first series, because you're not going to need Kershaw in that series. And then also, if you want, you can take more position players than pitchers, and by having Shohei Ohtani make a start here, possibly close out a game there, then you're probably in a good spot where you can consider that and you focus on really the best parts of both those guys, right? Rushing the hitter, Rortvedt, the potential catcher, and also a guy that can lay down a bunt, do some interesting things too. Senior Jefe, D-Mac bullpen is the proverbial anchor taking us to the bottom of the ocean. Hey, go get out of the ocean. Hey, we should have said that to the Giants. Go get your wild card series round out of the ocean. I want a Ben Rortvedt Dodgers jersey. Ellis Shiva Jones. A Ben Rortvedt Dodgers jersey. You're going to probably have to get something custom there. There is a Dodgers shop that sells team-issued jerseys that I could see them selling a Ben Rortvedt jersey. And he does wear number 47, which I think is a pretty clean jersey number if you're not going to go with some of the more known ones. But a Ben Rortvedt jersey would kind of go pretty hard. Yet, who else wore 47? You got Ryan Pepio. Pep's been pretty good in Tampa Bay. Howie Kendrick, I believe, was 47. Also, you know who else 47? Trace Thompson, 47 back in the day. Remember Trace Thompson that year? The Rort, greater than sign rushing. That's from Daniel Vargas. Alonzo, D-Mac, more rings rather than keeping all prospects that you don't know if it's going to pan out. Yeah, well, it's too late for that now. BC, Yankees won 20 of 40 World Series from 23 to 62. Okay, that was before you had the division round. Okay, that was a whole different time. All right, that was when all you had to do was win 4 games to win the World Series. As far as the leading up to it, you can have the DS and the CS and all these different rounds, a wild card round, things like that. BC, this team is like the 2000 Yankees. Yeah, I mean, that is the hope. That is the hope. They did struggle down the stretch. They did, and that's something to consider. The 2000 Yankees, they ended their season on a 7-game losing streak. They had lost 13 of 15 games heading into the playoffs. I don't expect the Dodgers to perform that poorly. I think that they're going to be in a much better position than that. J Den 499 Super Chat, I appreciate that. We are good. Lola, by the way, I got Lola. I got to find you in the Discord to make you the moderator. Lola says, quote, season is not over yet. It's not even close to being over. I hope that I just to try to lay out the facts, because the last thing I want you guys to do is tune into this thing where, Dodgers are great. The thing I always hate is like, this happened to the Dodgers, so let's spin it positively every single time, because that's the situation they're in, right? Like, would people, if think about this, I see people out there that are, it's good for the Dodgers to be playing in the wild card round. It's because of the bats. Would these people be saying that if the Dodgers were firmly at the number 2 seed or the number 1 seed? Would they be saying, the Dodgers need to tank the rest of the way so they can have the wild card round? The Dodgers should just start Chucky Robinson at pitcher, right? Just so they finish in the wild card spot. Would all these people be saying that, or is it kind of more like a silver lining thing just because that's where the Dodgers are at? I always try to kind of stick with where I'm at. A2, just because Dodgers should have traded for higher leverage relief pitchers. No Bonda and no Yates. Trinan is aging so rapidly in front of our eyes. Blake Trinan ain't it. That's from SK. Let's keep it down here. We got Blake has years left. Just leave him out this postseason. Aaron M. I'd even have Casper over Kopech. Aaron M. Kopech is a guy that certainly needs to get it together for sure. The big deadline deal, Brock. We've got Shohei Ohtani in the postseason. Joe Magazzani, should Shohei Ohtani pitch game 1 or 2? I think game 1 is not even under consideration at this point. It has to be Yoshinobu Yamamoto. Can you believe this? Yoshinobu Yamamoto is the first Dodgers pitcher to qualify for postseason awards since 2002. It's been that long to have a guy as a starter go deep into this role and just own that and be a true starter, right? A true starting pitcher, right? That's what That's what starting pitchers are supposed to do. That's what they have typically done. And for him to do that, I think is big. I think it's big. I think it shows that, hey, he's in the prime of his career. He is young, and he's the first Dodgers pitcher to qualify for that ERA title since 2022. And right now you've got a little over 50. Think about how crazy this is. Right now there's like 53 pitchers that are eligible for the ERA title. And that's where you have 1 inning per game for 151 innings, right? And by the 162, you qualify for it by pitching 1 for 162. 2010, 15 years ago, there was 92. So almost double. So this is not the norm in Major League Baseball. Gavin Stone would have probably got there last year if he didn't get injured, but it really says a lot about Yamamoto. So I think Yamamoto is for sure game 1 starter, to go back to your question, and Shohei Ohtani maybe goes game 2 with a Emmet Sheehan type of hybrid role. But I think in a short series, you really want Ohtani with the bat. Maybe it's Yamamoto game 1, Glasnow game 2, and then take it back. I would go Yamamoto game 1, Snell in game 2, and then maybe Glasnow in game 3, plus you have Shohei to close it out potentially with the state of this bullpen. So I think that's a role that you could have for him. So the thing is, I need game 1, and Shohei Ohtani is great, but he's still coming back off the injury, and he still has a lot of responsibilities for this team. And I think just having Yamamoto in these big games, he's an absolute assassin out there. He's a true killer out there. So I think that's just going to be the move, no matter where they're at, no matter where they are at. But let's keep it moving here. We've got Malachi Ferraria. What is up? Appreciate that. Jeremy Buckley, Shohei Ohtani is going to hit 50 and 51 tonight. You heard it first. I'd take that. D-Mac, what's up, Rossi? I don't even know what that means. D-Mac and Vesia Dreyer heard us yesterday. Yeah, it wasn't a good day for the bullpen. It wasn't. We talked about it last night. Brock Lesnar greater than signed Tanner Scott. Random comment, but okay. Definitely at Spearing Dudes for sure. Send Tanner on a vacay to the moon from Nameless. You guys are so done with Tanner Scott. Down the champagne, Fallout, enjoy. Brianna Rochelle, Tanner Scott is going to give you short answers, D-Mac. Don't waste your time. But he gives me short answers on camera, but off camera, he actually is a really thoughtful, open guy about the stuff. So I'm hoping that, just to be able to report to you what he told me. But yeah, on camera, he does give short answers. But you get off camera, I think he's a little bit different. D-Mac, you can't rescue Tanner. Send him to the moon from Alonzo. Ben Rortvedt is a total stud. Yeah, have we decided on the nickname as the Rottweiler, the vet? We've got Himmy Turner. D-Mac, are you drunk? Yes, I am drunk. Drunk off Coke Zero. Not a sponsor for the show. Should be, could be. But no, he did look good last night. I mean, he did. But, that was a much more low-leverage situation. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I'm not out here advocating for Tanner Scott to be the key here or anything like that. I'm just saying that if you're looking for something to feel better about in the last two, well, there's that for Tanner Scott, because Tanner Scott he's blown too many saves, man. He's blown too many big situations, and you just need to see him perform at a higher level in those moments to have more trust in him. There's no doubt about it. I mean, the thing about the tipping pitches, Scott said he's unsure, but yeah, I mean, he has. The thing too is the hard hit rate has gone up, and that's the big issue. The hard hit rate has gone from 27.2% to 43%, and the home runs have gone from 0.47 per 9 to 1.78 per 9. I mean, all of his numbers have just skyrocketed this year with the Dodgers. 4.91 ERA, 51 in thirds innings, 53 strikeouts. Hopefully we see something like we saw Will Smith a couple years ago. I'm not talking about the Dodgers legend. I'm talking about the Braves reliever who was bad in the regular season, and he got hot in the postseason for the Braves. We've got Martin Troop, D-Mac. Do you think Sheehan and Robo are two arms we can trust right now? Sheehan certainly, and I love Robo. I'm curious to see if they'll give Robo. I mean, honestly, Robo, like Jack Dreyer's pitched so much, and then Robo has higher velocity. I think has a lot in the tank right now. Yeah, I definitely trust Robo. Do they trust him to be one of those 13 guys? I think there's some dudes in front of him right now, but I do like him. I mean, him, Kasparius, and Sheehan. Obviously, Sheehan's the top guy. But outside of that, I think you'd have Robo in front of Kasparius right now, at least. We've got Dodgers can't bunt worth a scarlet, knows what's coming. Got my money ready for the postgame. Lola, honestly, this show is brought to you by Lola. For all the Lola, go to lola.com. Honestly, Lola, appreciate that. Your unofficial sponsor of the show at this point. You, Homage, and Prize Picks. D-Mac, I want to see Benny Seabag. Adi, I was texting him, trying to get him back on the show. We'll get Kasparius back for you guys. We've got question, D-Mac, where's the new snapback hat you got? Oh, you know what? I sat at the studio with the gold LA on it. I actually put it on the shelves behind me for the display. Super fire. Shout out to my guy, Noel. Noel's the man. Show some love to Noel, guys. He's going through a little knee injury right now. He's on the IL. But he's playing through injury like a tough guy. He's doing what Hanley Ramirez didn't do for us. Himmy Turner, D-Mac, you just tried to spin Tanner Scott and bump Fardo as unlucky GTFO. How the heck? I did not. What? I did not. He did have some bad luck on the fact that that pitch was called a ball. I don't want to get into it, a foul ball with Jung Hoo Lee the other night. But no, look, he has not been good enough. He has not been good enough, and he needs to prove himself by having some sustained success in high leverage moments to be able to gain the trust of this organization, this fan base, because I think a lot of it is mental right now. Some of it's mechanical. At some point, he needs to go out there and let it fly. Mario, D-Mac, and Logan Webb are besties now. Hey, I'm not. Apparently, I'm not. I've been replaced. I'm not Logan Webb's bestie anymore. I'm behind Mookie because Mookie had him on his podcast. So that is his bestie now. So it's not me. And look, okay, man, come on. Logan Webb's a cool guy. He looks like Jesse Plemons from Breaking Bad, and I love Breaking Bad. We got D-Mac, your Dodgers show is the best. Thanks, Ellis Shiva Jones. And the reason why it is the best is 100% because of you guys. Best fans in the game, smartest, some crazy takes. Where's Nando? Where's Blau K? But, hey, I love y'all. Yeah, there's Blau K. Blau K, two of the rules that I was taught growing up playing baseball was, one, a walk is as good as a base hit, and two, you can't strike out on the first pitch, so take that pitch to feel the speed of the pitcher. Yeah, I love that. Those are great rules to live by. If it's Shohei, by all means, you think you got one, go for it. Mookie, Freddie, you're not going to question those guys, but Rojas will tell you that he would have preferred to take that, especially when Robertson couldn't hit he couldn't hit water. He fell off a boat, right? With the baseball, he was really struggling with his command. So I like Rory. I like Rory too from Princess A. That's a good comment. Rory could be, I like Roro. I don't know. Roro kind of sounds too like cutesy, right? Roberto Rentere, D-Mac, can you give Mexico a shout out? It's our Independence Day down here. Lots of Doyers fans over here. Of course, I give a shout out to Mexico. I love Mexico. So shout out to you, Roberto Renteria. And it's going to be a great night today. They're going to have the Dia de los Dodgers jersey. I've got this. I'm copping this really cool Dia de los Muertos Dodgers button-up all over print. I'm going to debut that at our live show. Guys, we're going to be doing a live show out in Whittier at some point in the next couple of weeks. Would you attend? Dodgers Dugout Live on the road at a bar, restaurant type of thing. Could do a shoey in person. Could have a lot of fun. We've got Brock is, D-Mac, buy Tanner Scott a slugger. Maybe he needs it now more than ever. Brianna, I got to find a way to get Tanner Scott out of his slump. I'll think of something. We got Robo's one of the only arms we have confidence in right now. D-Mac and Jesse Plemons, best friends now. There's a Noel fixing heart emoji from Lola. Yeah, absolutely appreciate that. Attaboy. Let's see if the lineup is out, and then we'll go to the walk-off because it was cool to see that yesterday with the Dodgers honoring Walker Buehler. But here we go. Any lineup yet? No, but I do want to give a happy birthday to Oral Hershiser. Big happy birthday to the Bulldog. He was on our show a couple months ago. We didn't find that trading card, but Oral Hershiser turned 67 today. He spent a long time with the Dodgers, 83 to 1994, and his run in the 1988 postseason was stuff of legend, carrying this Dodgers team. One of the great postseason performances that you'll ever see. It was the Bulldog that got it done. One of the greatest 2-month runs that you'll ever see. And he was someone that pitched to contact sometimes, a little Maddox in his game. He was just incredible. Or Hershiser, one of the all-time great Dodgers. I think, honestly, he really was so close to being a Hall of Fame level pitcher, but I'd put him in if it was my Hall of Fame, right? But let's never forget, too, a 59-inning scoreless streak. So awesome to hear that. Happy birthday to the Bulldog, Oral Hershiser. And here we got a couple minutes left, so let's get to the walk-off.
The walk-off.
Hits the ball to right field. She is gone!
All right, today for the walk-off, Walker Buehler is on the Phillies, and it feels weird, and it kind of gives me a little nervous because there could be a world where the Dodgers face Walker Buehler, and it feels like he is in postseason mode, and he's ready to do something special for the Phillies like we saw him do with the Dodgers last year.
I can have the years that I've had in the past 2 years and the understanding that I love pitching in the playoffs. I love pitching in races. And for me, that it's like such a good sign in terms of the game that it's not all analytics. It's not. There's some teams that still want to kind of grab the game by the horns and say, listen, this guy's been really good in the playoffs. Hopefully we can fix him. If it works, great. If it doesn't, we gave him the minimum for 3 weeks, right? Like, the fact that like certain organizations reached out when they did and how they did, I think gave me a lot of hope for kind of that the game is still played that way. And, you know, I came up in LA with Kirsch and talked to him a lot about how the game used to be, and that's part of it. And so for me, it's a cool thing that a team like this wanted me to be a part of it. And as I said, hopefully I can contribute in some way, and I think today was a good first step that way.
So that was Walker Buehler, and man, the guy just somehow has it. I mean, he really does. Last year, a 5.84 ERA through his first 8 starts. Then he had a 4.93 ERA in 8 starts after returning. And in the postseason, he was just incredible. Like, I mean, he was outstanding. You just needed him in those big moments, and he certainly was that. Game 3 of the NLCS, I mean, he was huge. And in the World Series, he was huge. And throughout the postseason, he was big. Just, man, I mean, that final out, having pitched to the previously in that series right before that, you were like, man, like, could he do it again? And he found a way to do it again. So does he do it the Phillies? Man, he already has had a better start, which is already kind of crazy. Walker Buehler with the Phillies. I mean, he's the Kike Hernandez of pitching at this point. Like, it's not good in the regular season, and in the postseason and towards the end of the season, he really turns it up. In his first start with the Phillies, he gave up 1 run in 5 innings, had 3 strikeouts and a walk. So, I mean, man, butane, postseason Buehler, we could see him. But how cool was this? Here was the tribute that the Dodgers did for Buehler.
To Walker Buehler. Walker Buehler has the ball in his hands on 1-day arrest in a season in which he missed almost 2 years after a second Tommy John surgery. The Dodgers a strike away.
We deserve this. We've been playing really good baseball for a lot of years, and everybody talked about 2020 and whatever, but I can't say a whole lot about it now.
So there is Walker Buehler getting his tribute. And, yeah, 19 games of the postseason for Butane, 94 and 2/3 innings, a 3.04 ERA, 114 strikeouts and 36 walks. I don't want to see Walker Buehler under any circumstances in any capacity, because that would be just my brain couldn't take that. It's making my brain explode just thinking about it. I don't want to see that. So once a Dodger, always a Dodger. Walker Buehler will never pay for a drink as long as he lives in the city of Los Angeles. But that's going to do it for this episode of Dodgers Dugout Live. You got Shohei Ohtani on the mound tonight going up against Christopher Sanchez. The Dodgers need this win just to get back off the ground, get off the mat, and win this division. Who knows? Just like Dave Roberts said, win as many games as you can, and we'll see what happens. But my name is Doug McKain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification button, hit the like button. Also, another reminder, go pick up this awesome jacket, the retro satin Dodgers starter. There's only 100 or so left. They sell out every single time. It'll probably be gone. But if they're still available, go get the link down in our description, and you can look fly. This is timeless, right? Some jackets, like, they're cool for a couple years. This jacket will be cool for the next infinity, for the rest of time. So go pick one up. I want to go pick one up, but you know what? I got to get another vest, and I'm rocking the vest tonight to Dodger Stadium. So we're getting a win. All right, guys. See you later. Join us for the post-game show. Follow me. Follow Noel, who also produce the show remotely, and join the Discord. Go to GearUp.LA for the best t-shirts in the game, and hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button for your Los Angeles Dodgers. And most importantly, remember that nothing, absolutely nothing, brings us together quite like Dodger baseball. And until next time, think blue, bleed blue, and I'm out.
Start the party, Los Angeles! Your Dodgers have won the World Series!
And when the upcoming winter gives way to spring, rest assured, once again, it will be time for Dodger baseball.